Hello everyone, I'm KM and welcome back to my channel. And Happy New Year! It's been that long since I last uploaded, but I get to say that now. But yeah, Happy New Year, I hope you're doing well, hope you're having a good day. And today we are diving in to the best parts about being trans. Some of these are submissions from you guys, and some of these are just people that I found on Reddit who I thought their comments were very sweet. I wanted to start off the year with a really positive video because it's always the best thing going into a new year to start off with a positive mindset and to think about the best parts of something that can be kind of shitty at times. But yes, let's get into it. So the first one I have is a submission from Shay, who is part of my community, and he said that being trans is probably the best thing that could have happened to me. My life wasn't great until I figured it out because as a kid I wanted to be a boy, but my peers and family couldn't understand that until I could explain it in my own words. I did when I was 12. I'm almost 16 now and I officially came out as trans as 13. So it's been like 3 to 4 years since I came out now, which is crazy. But the struggles are worth it for the benefits. I've made the closest friends I've ever had. I've been able to focus more on my karate training because I don't have to think about constantly not feeling right. And being able to pass and being seen as a guy is the best feeling I've ever experienced. This is honestly such a sweet submission, and thank you, Shay, for sharing that with us. I I get that. I feel like there's so much like uncomfortableness around yourself that you just don't understand before you figure out that you're trans. I know personally there was always like this feeling that something was not quite right, but you didn't have the words to describe it or you didn't know exactly what it was. For some people, they just know from a young age. But yeah, just discovering that word transgender and kind of the fear, but yet the joy of knowing who you are is, yes, it's definitely a highlight of being trans, being able to actually understand who you are and focus on the things you enjoy. This next one is from Reddit, and they said, when people become who they really are, the world becomes a better place. Being trans is just hard evidence that you have a powerful sense of self and self-consciousness. There's no doubt that you're introspective and thoughtful and have a strong desire to right wrongs and work on yourself as a person. Dealing with daily adversities makes you a kinder, more patient, gentle, and empathetic person. Honestly, I think this is probably my favorite part about being trans is the experiences that you get that lots of other people don't get. Cis people just do not get that same experience and understanding of other people that trans people get because we've experienced life in so many different ways and we usually have a broader understanding of diverse topics and other people's ways of life, and also just the amount of cool, amazing people who teach you so much about yourself and the LGBT community as a whole is incredible. And honestly, it's my favorite thing about being trans is just meeting people, getting to understand other people, and the empathy and kindness that like creates in yourself is incredible. As well as, you know, the being able to feel like yourself for the first time when you like have transitioned. But yeah, I've noticed that in myself, in others, even people who just like delve into learning about what being trans is like and aren't actually trans themselves. It usually makes them such a more empathetic person just listening to stories from trans people and stuff. And I think that is a very powerful part of our community. Being able to truly know who you are. I lived for 16 years of my life not knowing who I was or why I felt so wrong inside, but now I'm transitioning, it's getting a lot better, and I don't feel as bad about myself anymore. I know it feels like the world is shitting on you right now, but trust me, it will get better. This is such a powerful message from somebody who has transitioned and kind of gone through the whole process that they want to go to younger trans people, because I know for me, for others of my age, it feels honestly the worst with all of the transphobia, how the world treats us currently. It is horrible, but you can see from the people around us, from the trans elders, that it does get better. And okay, maybe people's views towards us will be shitty for a while. Who knows? But the way that you view yourself and the self confidence and stuff, um, when you like the amount it improves when you come out as trans is crazy. I've seen it in myself. I've seen it in so many people around me. As they go through the process of transitioning, they become so much more confident, and it is insane to see. And honestly, it makes me so happy every time I spot something like that in one of my friends. Being trans has forced me to reconsider the place of gender in our society and in my day-to-day life. Realizing I'm trans has freed me from the shackles of having to dress how I'm expected to dress. Now I can explore my presentation a lot more. It also forced me to confront my own biases about other marginalised groups. I feel like that's bit is something I said earlier. It really changes your perspectives on other people's lives. I personally wasn't a person who's grown up around homophobia, transphobia, racism, things like that. But I feel like if you were, that, like, being able to understand and build empathy for those groups can massively change your outlook on life. And the other thing that this person said was, like, freeing you from the shackles of having to dress how you are expected to dress. I think that honestly, it's when you see somebody just presenting and being themselves, regardless of gender, it is so freeing for them and so freeing for the people who live that way to be able to get free from this very like black and white way of thinking that has been kind of instilled in the public view. And I know personally, like when I first came out, I identified as like purely like trans man. Like I identified as male very heavily. I know the past few years that has kind of changed to a little bit more of like a non-binary trans masculine kind of presentation of myself. I still present very masculinely, but I don't see myself as inside that binary because that binary is built on so many stereotypes I don't want to fit into, and I don't feel like anybody should be forced to fit into if they don't want to. But yeah, it's that is a great part of being trans, um being able to free yourself from those stereotypes. I mean, anybody can free themselves from the stereotypes, but I feel like it's more typical in trans people to be able to do that and to feel that freedom of expression. This one I kept in a response because I thought the response was honestly amazing and I didn't want to miss it off. Waking up each morning, realizing that I am finally me, there's just not enough words to express what it's like to know that for the first time in my life. And then the response said, came here to say this. A few months into my social transition, before I even started HRT, I remember a moment where I thought, I don't know what it means to feel like a woman or feel like a man, but I do know what it means to feel like myself. And I really did, more than I ever had. That was the moment where I felt like I had truly transitioned. Boobs and fat butt were just the icing on the cake. I love the comment colliding. It's a great comment, and yes, I fully see this. The moment, like, you've gone through all the stress and things and pain of figuring out your trans, the moment you actually see yourself in the mirror, the moment you take a step back and look and be like, that is me. It can take years, but I have definitely had that kind of moment a lot recently where it's been like, I feel myself. I mean, right now, you can see my expression is honestly very different to even when I just started this channel. But like, it's that feeling like yourself. It's the being able to actually see yourself and see the representation of what's inside your brain on the outside as well. That honestly helps so much. I haven't medically transitioned yet, and I'm sure I will look back on this moment and be like, you little idiot, you don't know even know what that could feel like possibly. Yeah. um, like with being like medically transitioned and stuff, but I feel like there is such a big difference from pre-transition and the very start of my transition, like a good few years ago, to now, and how I view myself, how I feel about myself and my identity. It's a lot more positive, and there's a lot less dysphoria because I'm finding voice training, the way I dress. I've figured out kind of my own style a lot more. My hair, I have a mullet now. Oh my god, that's new. You can barely see it because of the lights. But yeah, um, focus. Good. But yeah, I really like this one. Um, it just, yeah, the like I think I agree with the tone of what it means to feel like a woman or feel like a man. What does that mean? What do these gender blocks actually mean? How do you feel like that? You feel like yourself, and when you don't feel like yourself, like what you feel like in your brain doesn't match how you feel when you look in the mirror. It is honestly like soul destroying, and yeah, that feeling of like looking in the mirror and being like, that is me, is it's one of the best feelings I think I've ever experienced. Gender dysphoria is certainly a powerful thing, um, and it's nice that I get more and more of those moments. And going forward into the future, like standing on testosterone next year, within a year now, probably, will be absolutely incredible. And I'm sure the future is full of so many more of those moments, for me and for everybody else. I don't know what stage of transition you guys watching this are at, but yeah, if you're at the start, you will get there. It will happen. I get to decide what masculinity means to me. If I don't like some aspect of toxic masculinity that I was raised around, I get to say, nope, that doesn't fit for me, and reject it. It also goes with the fact that I didn't have my hobbies and likes bullied out of me as a kid. If I were AMAB, I imagine my love of musicals and baking may have made me even more of a target for bullying. I got to experience those joys fully. Obviously, these both go hand in hand with the downsides, but it is good to focus on the positives sometimes. Yeah. Also, I just saw this person's flare. They've started on testosterone and got top surgery. Which is very good for them. I'm very proud of them for that. But yeah, I feel like we covered this earlier. But yeah, just that you can pick and choose what parts of gender you want to identify with. Anybody can do that, but I feel like trans people specifically go against the stereotype a little bit more and just strive to find their own selves. Being trans and discovering that I'm trans helped me become the person I wanted to be and not the person other people wanted me to be. Get to live as I want and whoever I want to be. I like myself more now. Being trans led me to find my girlfriend and experience many other things. Lots of negatives too, but a lot of positives being trans. It does lead to so many experiences. I think you're led into a very caring and supportive environment. If you go and seek out other trans people, and our community is honestly some of the most like close, connected, friendly people I've ever met. And what stands out to me about this one is like not the person other people want me to be. When you figure out like you're trans, you tend to stray away from this kind of thing that you're forced to be because you're already redefining who you are. So why not just go above and beyond and push against everybody who has told you that you can't be who you want to be. I'm the most me. I have a way deeper understanding of myself and who I am and who I want to be more than most cis people. I've unlocked the knowledge that I can do whatever I want with my body and presentation, and we only get one life in our randomized meat suit. I love that phrase. And we should make it our own. I've mostly overcome the fears holding me back from doing that because I had to live my best life by transitioning, and now it's much easier to just be myself in general with weird clothes and hair and so on. I think this is very much like the second one that we looked at. But yeah, it's the in some weird way the customization of yourself. And I love that. I love when you're in a crowd of like trans people and you can see the amount of variation, and you can see how much people have like become themselves and gone for whatever they want to be, which is incredible. And trans people have the best style. I've chucked in a funny one here, but we're really hot, lol. I think what I literally said just before this thumbs up. Yes. Agreed. 100%. Getting to be me after a lifetime of only being parts of me or like out of focus me. I included this one because, not because it's like different to the rest of them, but I just love that phrasing. Out of focus is like, it's such a good way to think about the trans experience. And I guess like the start of your transition, you're just an out of focus version of yourself. I love that. I had to include that. Being forcefully ostracized from society for simply being yourself has a weird silver lining when you realize that how people will put themselves through to just fit in. People take careers they don't want, marry people they don't like, and force themselves to live a lie their entire lives because they're so afraid of disapproval from others. Transitioning automatically made me an outcast. So now I'm freer than ever to do what the hell I want because people are always going to disapprove of me anyway. I think this is such a good way to spin what is quite a negative thing, being like an outcast, and ostracized from society, into such a positive thing for trans people. Yes, it sucks, but also it gives you so much freedom, and freedom that a lot of cis people will probably never experience. They might, but again, it's just a more common experience for trans people. I'm getting less and less to say about these because I feel like some of the themes are repeating themselves. I hope you guys are enjoying like hearing other people's opinions on things. I think it's a really good thing to do to get a bunch of people's responses to things like this, because you can really see the variation and also what links the trans community and what makes us all feel positive, and to know that there is more people out there, and there is a lot of trans people out there who are really enjoying themselves and have a lot of positive things to say about being trans. I just love being queer. I don't know exactly how to put it into words. I experience a lot of joy and happiness being trans. Maybe that's because I finally know my true self. I love that. And yeah, same. I love being queer. But the reply says, same for me, it's the best thing about being trans is I get to be trans. Not religious, but there's a quote that I like. God made me trans for the same reason he made wheat but not bread, and grapes but not wine, so that I could take part in the act of creation. I love that quote. It is such a good quote. Sorry, I keep putting it to this one. But yeah, I love that so much. That's the vibe. And to be honest, ever since finally coming out at 30, I had realised that most cis people who never had to have a coming out moment also don't spend a lot of time getting to know themselves on a deeper level. My sense of self is secure as hell now, but I never would have developed that if I hadn't come out as trans. I would have spent my whole life not knowing who I was and thinking that everyone always felt so unreal and disconnected like that. Personally, I just didn't live my life before I came out. I was living someone else's. Being trans fucking rules because I get to finally meet me. And it turns out that guy's kind of alright. Getting to actually feel embodied in the world is such a trip. I can't believe most people are just born with that. Lol. I love this response, and this person feels like they have such good energy. But yeah, I agree with the experience of feeling like you weren't living your own life before you came out, because I don't know, I look back at like past photos of myself and my past experiences, and I'm just like, that does not feel like me. That person's just not me, but in so many ways it is at the same time. Like physically, yes, like mentally and just kind of identity wise, no. It feels like your life kind of starts from that moment that you came out, and it does mean that you miss out on so much of childhood. I tend to find that lots of trans people feel like they never lived the childhood that they wanted to live, because most people don't come out at a young age. But yeah, I absolutely love this response. I thought it was so, like, it puts into words perfectly some of the things I was thinking. Another funny one, because I just liked it. It made me laugh a lot. My existence pisses off bigots. What's not to love? Yeah. It's sad that there is bigoted people, but the fact that merely the existence of me and everybody else in the trans community just pisses off people. It's so weird. Why be annoyed at something that has no impact on you, realistically? I don't understand it. But yeah, it's kind of funny. When you get past the fact that bigoted people can be really hurtful, it's kind of funny because they just wind themselves up in arguments that make absolutely no sense at all. And just, yeah. The final one I have is from Mr. G. Jade's a close friend of mine and wanted to input into this video, so I'm going to read this. Coming out as trans has most definitely been one of the best decisions of my life. It has made me who I am today, and also it brought out so much comfort and euphoria I don't think I'd ever felt when I was still a girl. Being able to pass as a guy, having strangers call me sir or a more masculine name, or the occasions where people who had known me before I came out said that if they didn't know I was trans, they would have thought I was a guy, are the kind of moments that make me fill up with so much pride. I knew I was transgender in late 2021, around November time to be exact, but due to fear of a heavily religious family, I was too afraid to actually come out. In late January, I finally sat down and told my mother I was trans, and to my surprise, she was extremely supportive, asked me what name I would prefer, and also immediately booking a private barber who still cuts my hair to this day and does amazing at it. I don't regret a single thing. Even though, as some can imagine, there were some hurdles I've had to go through, but sometimes a bit of struggle is all worth it in the end. I honestly, this almost made me cry reading the first, like, when Jay originally sent this to me, because it is so sweet, and knowing him personally and knowing some of the things he's had to go through, it is honestly great to see these moments and to see the positives of people's lives when you're kind of stuck listening to the negatives and the things that go wrong. It's great, and I'm glad you'd experienced so much happy moments. And yeah, the passing thing is amazing. The first time you pass in public is always the best experience, and you know, all the rest of them I don't think I'll ever get over. People just, yeah, calling me sir, using he and pronouns automatically. Yeah, it's so nice, and that is a feeling that I feel like cis people just don't understand, but it's such a great experience. And the barber who gets your hair, I like, for the first time getting a haircut is also such a big moment. Mine was not the best. I feel like most people's first haircuts after coming out, or just like masculine haircuts in general, are not usually the best. To be honest, I didn't come out before I first cut my hair. Fun fact. But yeah, I feel like they don't usually go the best, but they do make you feel very euphoric, even if looking back on it, it's not the best haircut ever. But yeah, the part about not regretting a single thing as well, I feel like I can heavily relate to. People are always like, oh, you're gonna regret it, you're gonna detransition, you're not gonna feel like this in like 5 years' time. I have not had a single regret yet in my transition, and I don't think I will. I feel like I'm at the point where I'm pretty damn certain I'm not gonna regret it, but opinions can change with time. I can relate heavily to that. It's a struggle. It's very much a struggle. Nothing's plain sailing and easy, but I feel like personally I'd rather go through all of that than go back to where I was like 2-3 years ago, because I'm so much more happy now and I'm so much more myself now, and I have had so many amazing experiences. I've made so many amazing friends through this that I couldn't imagine living without them, and I couldn't imagine what my life would be like if I didn't figure out I was trans. Um, but yeah, or if I just ignored the fact that I was trans as well, I couldn't imagine what my life would be like. But yeah, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and please do leave in the comments down below your favourite part about being trans. The best part, anything you've read online that you thought it was positive and inspiring, and leave your opinions down below on some of the things said in this video if you agree with them or not. And also, if you have any other video ideas, if you like this one, want me to do more of these, let me know. And yeah, I will see you hopefully next week. Bye!